Welcome back to the program, folks. Today I want to give a quick shout out and a quick, overview of the newest release from High Tide Recordings, Les Agamemnonz Amateurs album. So this is one of a kind. It's fantastic music and something you definitely should check out. And I'm telling you that from my soul as a music lover of all things, kind of tropical surf, transportive music. It's all here. And it is so well done. This album is so well produced, well arranged. If you guys caught my last High Tide Recordings Spotlight episode, I covered the Hilo High Flyers Adventure album. And this I actually listened to first when I got it in the mail from High Tide. And I ended up loving this more than the Hilo High Flyers album, believe it or not. But I wanted to let you guys know about that as soon as it came out, so I did that one first. June's brand new release from High Tide Recordings is this. You're not going to believe this when I tell you. They are a French surf band with a little bit of spaghetti western influences. This is something to be heard. If you love old soundtracks from spaghetti westerns along with some kitschy surf vibes, you're going to love this record. Now, Les Agamemnonz is the name of a Roman warrior or Roman warlord or god or something like that. And that's where they got their name, so therefore they have to go along with that in the theming in their dress. So they're kind of from the Roman era, dressed as Roman warrior peasant people, I would assume. So that's just their vibe, and they are something. I love this more than the last High Tide review, and I know I've been putting up a lot of High Tide reviews, but they send me stuff, and how could I not talk about it? I mean, this is just great. On striking yellow vinyl, I can see these tracks being highlighted in some sort of indie movie. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bar none. Some shot on film masterpiece, some arty type of movie. This kind of stuff would go hand in hand with it. And I would be watching it, sitting back with some popcorn is what I'd be doing. So I just love this. I soak it in like a sponge. And that is the best way to describe this, is cinematic instrumentals. The Les Agamemnonz together create something really, really must be heard. And if you love surf, if you love adventure, if you love like exploring and the mystery of that, you're going to love this record, because this just reminds me of exploring the forest and finding things that I've never seen before and enjoying every bit of it. California in a nutshell, where it's got those woods, those redwoods, and the ocean, and it's got all those different landscapes, and that's kind of what it reminds me of. It reminds me of hiking through the woods and then coming to this beautiful big beach, this giant cliff that has these beautiful waves. That's what it reminds me of. Such great music, and it's done fantastically. They have such a powerful energy in the drumming and the rhythm with the brass that comes in, a little bit of strings that come in. They've got a great vibe about them. Their orchestration is a killer. I love it. Great change up of rhythms in every one of these songs. Some of the tracks are more traditional surf in that realm, and some of them are more produced with lush strings and lush brass elements that come and weave their way through. The arrangements are just out of this world good. I loved this record. As soon as I heard it, I said, oh yeah, I love this. I love it. I put it on in the background. It's on all the time. On all the time. I love those white labels with the mountains in the background. It's just got something to it. It's got this sort of redwood forest vibe with a beautiful lush sea below you. Like you're up in the mountains and there's a beautiful storm rolling in with giant waves. That's where it takes me. And you're just in the forest trying to get away from the rain. I love on the back of the record here, they give you a little overview of what you're about to hear in every song. So let's see what track we're on here. Track number 3 on side 2 is Conseils de la Fille. It's all in French. So listen carefully to the fairies' truthful and timeless advice. Mount Harissa, medium grand surf, and Redwood Heights, a rather nostalgic tune originally in the East Bay. Just fantastic. These guys clearly love California, but they also probably love where they're from. And they are all about the California sound. I've never seen tracks described that way. I love that they give a little example of what you're about to hear in a few words. And of course you could play this little game and help them get out of the woods. Looks like the bunch of amateurs got lost in the woods. Help them find their way out. Just so cool. On the back here, a list of instruments and who in the band is playing. One of these tracks, Mount Harissa, is a Duke Ellington tune, but there's one other cover by Michel Legrand. But other than that, every other one of these songs on this album is composed and created by Les Agamemnonz. Hear this one? This is one of my favorites. That guitar, that rhythm, it's just that little bass, the boom, the boom, the boom. But it's on a muted that muted guitar that kind of just goes along with the track. In the background, that background little bit of production and that little bit of mystery that's in there. I have to make note that the piano and organ little elements to this really add a lot of kitschy quirkiness that I'm craving in music that's instrumental, to keep it light and to keep it interesting. And it's always pulling a fastball on you, this music. It starts out in one way and it can change into a completely different track at the drop of a hat in the middle of it, and then go right back to the refrain. It's got a lot of depth to the music, a lot of depth to the tracks, and Les Agamemnonz did a great job. And of course, you have to say the pressing is fantastic. Always highest quality virgin vinyl from High Tide Recordings. I really appreciate them sending me this stuff. And again, I wouldn't talk about any of this stuff if I didn't absolutely love it. They know what I like, and they send me what I love. It's fantastic stuff, and you have to check it out. If you're anything like me and love that sense of transportive, tropical, relaxing, if you love exotic, if you love adventures, if you love that mystery, if you love that instrumental kind of fun, this is in this album. It's everywhere throughout this album. Listen to these melodies. Beautiful oil textured painting on the cover from the forests, and you see them and their little spotlight. There's a little light on them in the forest there, and in their Roman colorful garb. So I just love it. I love it. Why they went for a Roman god of war, I don't know. For their name, I don't know. And why they go about the theme of it and keeping up the theme and wearing the dress as they do, I guess to stand out and people will remember them, and I certainly do. When I first saw them in their togas, I said, what is this all about? And then as soon as you listen to it, you forget all about what that was about, and you just are swept into the music. I get it, it's their theme, they want to go with their theme of their name, and, that's great. That's something to remember them by. They've got long hair, most of them, and they are great musicians. They know how to play their guitar, drums, bass, and the horn, and other orchestra instruments that come into play. Just unbelievable. Those are my favorite tracks, the ones that have that different sort of production to them. Just when you think they're going to do a typical surf medley of sorts, it changes and it goes offbeat into this different. It's like you take a sharp right and go on a totally different path for a second, and it comes back to the refrain. And that, in doing that, really keeps me engaged. It's really, really good. I love the piano with the drums. The drummer is great, and the organ, piano, horns, everything, the strings, fantastic. If you don't have this record by High Tide Recordings, I highly suggest you pick it up. Les Agamemnonz Amateurs album. I believe this is their second full album that they put out. Beautiful stereo recording. If you love surf music, if you love the Ventures style guitar, with a little bit of mystery and intrigue with the exotica elements. You are going to love this. It just came out late last week. Pick it up if you don't have it, if you collect these sort of albums as I do. And that leads me into saying, if you want to like, ring the bell, subscribe, do that whole thing, that'd be great on these videos. It helps me produce more for you and introduce you to some stuff that you may have never heard of and that you will enjoy. So if you're looking for game-changing, unique chord progressions in your surf medley of music, do pick this up. You'll absolutely be so thrilled. A smile will come on your face and you'll say, yes, this is what I'm looking for, is what you will say. Hopefully. Let me know if you think about it. If you pick this up, let me know what you think about the music, all right? I want to know what your favorite adventures type of style artist is and what I should check out based on this great music. Let me know in the comments below if you have a suggestion. I'd love to hear it. And until next time, you can find me lounging to a melody. Take care, folks, and bye-bye. Thank you, folks, for tuning into this episode. If you do feel so inclined as to follow me on social media, you may gladly do so at Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I've got an Etsy shop where you can see some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I'll catch you folks on the next episode of Manza Media.